So I'm pretty sure that today, a lot of us are very excited because in 3 days we're going to celebrate Christmas. You know, there's only 3 days left, and so a lot of us are really having that anticipation, that excitement, looking forward to the festivities of Christmas Day, of Christmas Day. So many things to just look forward to as we're getting closer and closer to Christmas Day. And what we also notice, and what kind of sets also that excitement, is that as we are getting closer to Christmas Day, usually the last 8 or 9 days of Advent, our readings shift us back to that first Christmas Day, onto the first few months leading to that first Christmas Day. So now the readings are showing us the circumstances, the different stories, the different characters that slowly point us to what happens on that Christmas night. Today, our gospel reading leads us to this beautiful scene of the visitation of our Blessed Lady to her cousin Elizabeth. There's so many things that we can unpack about this short but beautiful scene, but what I'd like to invite you to kind of reflect on today are these two words that I would probably say sets the stage for this scene, this wonderful scene that is proclaimed in our gospel today. And those words are found in the very first statement of the gospel. The words, "in haste." Mary went in haste to visit her cousin. Mary went in haste and traveled to Judah. Mary went in haste. And I think there's something in that I'd like for us to reflect on today as we enter closer into the season of Christmas. I always wonder why would St. Luke added these words? You know, why couldn't he just say, you know, Mary went to visit her cousin Elizabeth? Why has he have to put the words "in haste"? And so I look at, you know, the expert of everything, Google, and what Google shows me is that the words haste kind of reveals an urgency. You know, something like you are carrying this particular news in your life. There's something big that you're holding on to, and you can't wait to just show it. There's an urgency to share it with somebody. And therefore, you just go there. And usually this is fueled by the sense of excitement. There's a good news that you have received and you become excited about it, and therefore you just want to share it immediately. And I think that that's what Mary is doing in today's gospel, is that she is carrying this wonderful news, this big news in her life. And she's so excited to share it with her cousin Elizabeth, to bring it to Elizabeth. And therefore she went in haste to her. I can recall in my own lives several instances of the same thing, where I received a good news and I went in haste to be able to share that. But the one that I could really recall was when I was, for the first time, I received the news that I was accepted to the seminary. I was still living in the Philippines at this time. I was just applying for the seminary, and I got the news. And it got me so excited that right then and there, even before breakfast that morning, I immediately left the house and went to visit our pastor, an elderly Monsignor, because he has been supporting me in my application to the seminary. And as I visited him, I shared him the good news that I was accepted and I was looking forward to the seminary. And what would have been probably a few minutes of just me sharing the news ended up for about a visit of 3 hours, because our Monsignor, as he was rejoicing in my acceptance, it also made him rethink about his own journey through the seminary, and he just wants to share it. And he recalled also the wonderful moments that he had in the seminary. And so it kind of like just a sharing of stories between me and him. Later that day, I encountered his personal assistant and driver, and the driver said, he said, "I don't know what you told Monsignor this morning, but he looks very happy for the rest of the day. He looks very relaxed, very happy." And I was like, well, I didn't really did anything big. I just shared the good news of my acceptance to the seminary, which led him to share his own. But in hindsight, as I was kind of looking into it, it made me realize that sometimes what a person can bring to another could trigger that somebody to recall the good things in his life too, the good moments in his life. And I think today, as we look at this gospel of Mary going in haste to visit her cousin Elizabeth, I think that for Mary, she was bringing this good news, this big news. Perhaps it's the news of the Annunciation, of the angel Gabriel appearing to her and telling her that she's going to be the mother of the Son of God. Maybe it's the big news of her knowing or realizing that her cousin Elizabeth is also pregnant in her old age. But I think that what happened here when Mary went in haste to Elizabeth was that it also allowed Elizabeth to be able to recall the good things that has happened in her life, the good news that has happened in her that gave her hope. Because at this time, we can imagine Elizabeth is probably still just recovering from maybe many years of living in shame or embarrassment that at her old age, she was childless. And we know that in Jewish tradition, that's usually something that's not favored in society. And now she's reeling from the good news of her own pregnancy. And she was given this opportunity to share that, to rejoice with that, with the Blessed Virgin Mary, and to find hope in this encounter with Our Lady. And all because our Blessed Lady went in haste to visit Elizabeth and to allow her to be able to discover in her own life the good things that the Lord has done for her. And I think that that's probably a good place for us to realize an invitation as we get closer to the season of Christmas too. Maybe for you and I, we are so excited about Christmas. And maybe for you and I, we know what Christmas is. What is the message, the true message of Christmas? Unfortunately, there are still people also who might not know that there is a good news that comes at Christmas. Maybe a lot of people are in a place of struggle right now, a place of dealing with challenges or trials in their lives, and they're struggling to find some goodness with the season of Christmas. Maybe perhaps the invitation is for you and I, like Mary, to be willing to go in haste to those people, to bring this good news with urgency and excitement, and to allow these people to, through our stories, to discover that God has also been doing good things in their lives, that there's also a reason for hope because God has done or is doing something or wants to do something good in their lives. But maybe the only way that they could be led to that place in their lives, in their hearts, is if we are willing to go there in haste to share some good news with them. It could be a family member. It could be somebody you know at work. It could be a friend, a neighbor. But I think that today for us, as we look forward to our own celebration of Christmas, I think what completes the message of Christmas, as our Blessed Lady discovered in today's gospel, is that we hold to it, but we also go in haste to others to be able to share that good news with them. The good thing is that to go in haste does not necessarily mean getting into your car and driving miles to visit the person who might need it. Though that's probably the beauty of social media right now, is that we can go in haste through social media to share these things. So maybe my encouragement for you is maybe in these last 3 days counting to Christmas, maybe to open social media and to maybe visit that person that you know who might need some good news. Send a message to them. Call them, send them a short text, but just allow them to have the place to be able to discover through the good news that you're sharing with them, the good news also in their lives that could help them find hope. So today, may we also have that desire to be willing to share the good news, the message of Christmas to others, and to, like our Blessed Virgin Mary in our gospel today, to go in haste and let them discover the goodness of the Lord in their lives.